So you can see average work experience, 7 or more years. If the MBA you study at is accredited by AMBA, which is the Association of MBAs, which I think most of the business schools and universities represented here today in the UK, I think most of them have their MBAs accredited by AMBA. That's one of their criteria, that all students in AMBA accredited schools must have a minimum of 3 years postgraduate work experience. Because the idea on the MBA is you learn from each other as well as learning from the academics. You do a lot of group work, you analyze case studies, you put together presentations, you analyze a lot of data, and you do that as a group, you know. And so people bring their experiences into the group work then, you know. So you might have, on your group of 5 or 6 people, you might have somebody from Brazil who worked in engineering, you might have somebody from the UK who's worked in HR, somebody from China who's worked in finance, and a German pharmacist. So you've all got these different backgrounds, lots of work experience. So within that group of 4 people with an average of 7 years work experience, you've got 28 years work experience as well. So the idea is you learn a lot from each other as well as from the academics on an MBA program. These are some of the motivations for studying an MBA. Change your career. So somebody might, you know, who's been working in a field for 7 or 8 years. For example, we get a lot of people coming to the UK from India who've worked in information technology, IT, and they want to maybe move across into a certain different field, and they use the MBA as a means of getting a skill set to enable them to get a new position in something related, but away on a tangent. So that's going to help them with that. You also get to boost your prospects. They use MBA as a springboard to enter senior management. So you might have somebody who's an engineer, who did their engineering degrees, has worked for a number of years in engineering, but become a senior manager. Now he needs to get that business degree to complement his work experience and complement his technical skills. So he does an MBA to help move him on within the same profession, the same field, but to a higher level. And yeah, that's sort of crossover between those 2 points, as I said, to complement technical skills and move on. And finally, quite a popular one is to develop entrepreneurial skills. We've got a lot of our MBA students in the UK either want to work in their family business that already exists, or they want to start up a new business. So doing an MBA, you can do a lot of modules usually relating to entrepreneurial skills, new business development, idea incubation, things like that. So it can really be quite useful for starting up your new business. Another really useful thing about an MBA is it gives you a lot of business contacts on a networking as well that can be really useful for people starting up a new business venture. Okay, master's students, as you would expect, they don't have that same level of work experience, so they tend to be a bit younger, in their early 20s usually, 21 to 25 years old. Many of them come straight from their undergraduate degrees. So they may study their bachelor's degree in Brazil, for example, then decide they want to get an international bit of education to complement that. So they come to the UK or Europe or the States or whatever to get another degree on top of that before they really go out into work. They may have some internships or some part-time work or something like that, but normally it's not one of the entry requirements on an MSc to have any work experience. So as I said, similar to MBAs, often they want to do an MSc to complement technical skills in engineering, in pharmaceuticals, in any area like that, to help them have their technical skills, but also a business education on top of that. Or they could specialize. You could have somebody who's done a bachelor's degree in business studies or in management, and who's really sort of found an interest in marketing or finance through doing that sort of general business degree, and then they want to focus in on one particular area at the next level on the MSc. There'll be very diverse nationalities. So if you look at that statistic, in the UK you've got students from 135 different countries on postgraduate business courses. So it's a really international environment. We get students at my university from all around the world studying our MSc programs. So it's very international. It gives you a great network of contacts after you graduate, you know, so you'll be working with people from Greece, from China, from the UK, from Germany, from Spain. So when you graduate, you've got these business contacts, but you've also got great social contacts as well. So you can go on holiday to your friend in Greece's place, go and visit your mates in Moscow, stuff like that. So it develops this network for life of international contacts that you'll get on an MSc and also on an MBA as well, really. Okay, so look at what you actually study on an MBA. You normally study strategy quite a lot because it's designed to move you on to becoming a senior manager. I need to be able to have that strategic overview. And obviously, as well as that, you need to have leadership skills, so you do that as well. And corporate governance is something that's becoming more and more important now within senior business management, since things like Enron and Parmalat and more recent Anderson, things like that. So corporate governance is very useful now as a skill to have within your qualifications. On an MBA, you'll normally do a business project as part of the course. So for the first sort of half to 2/3 of the course, you'll be studying theory, but still apply that theory during the study. You do a lot of case studies and things like that. But then the final sort of third of the course is when you'll do this business project. Normally, you'll be assigned to work with an organization, and you'll go in as a sort of consultancy type role to put into practice what you've learned so far on the course. So you'll be looking at real business experience, not just sitting in a classroom and being taught at. You're going in and applying that knowledge straight away as part of the course. It's a really important part of the course. So if you're asking schools about MBAs and what does your MBA cover, that sort of practical element of the MBA is very, very important, because that's going to be something you can put on your CV or your resume when you graduate, then, that you've got this consultancy experience of working in the UK or wherever you decide to go and do your MBA. On the project, though, you won't be on your own. You'll have that supervision of an academic member of staff who specialises in that field as well. So you get their input and guidance as well. So it's a real benefit to the company that you'll be working with, because they get your skills and the skills of an academic underpinning your consultancy work as well. So it's a really important part of the MBA. So always be looking at that, no matter where you want to study. Group work, as I've already mentioned, do a lot of that with a high caliber peer group, very experienced professionals like yourselves from around the world, and you really learn a lot from them as well as from the academics. International development. A lot of MBAs now have a big international element of them, whether it's an emerging markets module where you go and they go and send you as consultants to SMEs in a foreign country and work with them, or whether it's a consultancy trip like that somewhere else, or a symposium in another country where you go to experience lectures from academics in another business school. So look at that. A lot of MBAs, a lot of good MBAs, will involve some international element now as well to really expose you to different business environments. MBAs tend to have a premium cost as well, which is sort of the downside of it's sort of often they're called the blue ribbon courses of business schools. And with that, you get a lot of extra things like the international elements, like all the business projects you do. But unfortunately, there usually is a premium cost. However, costs vary. So, do your research, look around, look at different schools and see the different costs of different schools. But also look into scholarships as well, because there are scholarships available, particularly if you've got very strong business experience, if you've got strong GMAT scores, things like that. At schools, at business schools, but also, do a bit of research on the internet. You'll find often there's charitable foundations and bodies like that who don't do a lot of advertising because they don't have massive marketing budgets. So you have to go out and find these organisations, these charitable foundations who like to award scholarships to people studying in different areas in different countries, things like that. So take a little bit of time to have a look into that as well. MBA will have, that's something you need to ask when you're speaking to schools about MBAs, is the sort of careers guidance that you have. Because careers guidance an MBA student is going to need. It's going to be very different to the careers guidance an undergraduate or even an MSc student is going to need. Because MBA graduates are professional people looking for jobs at a senior level. Undergraduates and MSCs are really looking for entry-level jobs. So you need to speak to the schools and ask them what their careers provision is on MBA. They've got dedicated people, especially for MBA students, who are looking for senior jobs, or they're just going to lump you in with the undergraduates. So you need to find out about that, what sort of support you're going to get, because you're going to be looking for MBA level careers after graduation. Okay, master's degrees, as I said, they build on the bachelor's degree that you've got. They are designed for young people just beginning their career path. In the UK, they're normally 1 year master's degrees. In other countries in Europe, they're often 2 years, and the States are often 2 years as well. But in the UK, it's usually an intensive 1 year program, so there's a lot of work right from the start, They're tailored often for specific careers. We do a lot of courses relating to finance. I know sort of other schools like Aston Business School in Birmingham, they're very strong on marketing and organisational behaviour. So you need to look around, find out if your field is a particular field, find out which schools have research strength and teaching strength in that field. At CAS we're also very strong in shipping. I'm not sure what Warwick's strength are. I know they're very good in finance as well. So, ask the school what their strengths are and then see if their strengths match the skill set that you want to learn on the course as well.